Okay, now we're in the mini clinic number 6. This is setting and using screens. We're going to talk about the principles of setting the screen and then the principles of using the screen. We're going to do 2-on-0 perimeter drill first. We're going to teach down screens, then we're going to teach back screens, and then we'll do post players and we'll do cross screens, and then we'll combine the two and show you what we do with our motion. Okay? Alyssa is going to be the screener in a down screen situation. Down screens when you screen for someone below you on the floor. Now in this drill she would start with the ball and make a pass. One of the principles of motion obviously is pass and screen away. Very simplest form of motion. Now the concept that we're looking for first of all in setting any screen is the angle with which the screen is being set. To help us to set a quality screen angle on a down screen, we tell players to point your back to the basketball. Point your back to the basketball on a down screen. The other thing that Alyssa has to do, let's demonstrate that first. The way that we get our back to the ball is by making an inside cut first. If she makes an inside cut and she's not defended, then she'd just make a give and go cut to the basket. But if she were defended, then she'd be at a good angle to go down and set the screen for Shannon. Okay, go.
Inside, Shannon.
Excellent. Okay, good. Now, she's got her back to the basketball. Here, let's set this up right again. Okay, she sets her back to the basketball. She executes a 1-count jump stop. The reason for the jump stop is it helps her get on balance, and it also tells the screen receiver or the first cutter when the screen is being set. So we want all screens set with a 1-count jump stop. When we set screens, we want to make a fist. We want to wrap a wrist with the other hand, and we want our hands down here. We used to set screens like this with our elbows down. What used to happen to us is people would bump into us and our arms would go away from our body and it looked like we pushed. We got called several times for fouls that way. So I like to wrap a wrist. It also helps us keep our arms in and doesn't allow us to step out and it's harder for us to get our elbows out and get elbow fouls while we're setting screens. So we want to get our back to the ball on down screens. We want to set it with a 1-count jump stop. We want to wrap a wrist. Okay, and very importantly, we want to make contact on down screens. We want to make contact on down screens. Now, I'll get back to the last principle for the first cutter in a minute, or the second cutter in just a second. The first cutter's rule is to walk away from the screen, help set the screen up. Let's go through it again. Just as in movement without the ball, you go slow into your move and quick out, same when you're setting the screen up. Walk away slowly and explode out. Walk away from the screen or lower from the screen and then explode out. So number 1 is walk. Let me back up just for a second. The screener, one of the things that really helps communication. A lot of teams in motion get 2 players on a side and neither one of them know which one's supposed to screen and they end up just exchanging. So what we do to help our players is we say whoever's closer to the center line of the court is the screener. So in this situation, Alyssa's the screener for Shannon. If we knew we wanted to set a back screen in our motion for Alyssa, or Shannon was a great 3-point shooter like she is, and she knows a great way for her to get open is to set a back screen and spot up, then they would adjust. Alyssa would widen out, and Shannon would come in and get closer to the center line. That gives us a good screening angle, and it also helps the 2 players know who's going to set the screen. The other thing that helps us know who's going to set the screen, besides the communicating and knowing who's closer to the center line, is simply run to set screens, walk to set them up. So whoever's running is going to screen. Whoever's walking is going to receive the screen. So run to set the screen up, walk to set it up. Excellent. Now come back. Right here. Now, after we've walked and we've set the screen up and we're in this situation, the number 2 principle for the first cutter is wait. So walk, wait. Don't start to go off of the down screen or back screen or any screen you receive till you see a 1-count jump stop. Once that happens, now you can come off of the screen. So walk, wait. Number 3 is watch. Watch your defender. Now, there's 4 cuts that we can make coming off of a down screen. if Sarah's guarding Shannon and she's going to just get screened off right here, we would make what we call a pop cut or a tight cut. We come off shoulder to shoulder and we pop straight for the basketball. Now, one of the ugliest cuts that I cannot stand in motion is the cut most of our players like to make. It's this 45-degree angle pop cut. And they don't know whether they're popping or flaring. But it doesn't run the defender into the screen. You've got to make a cut that runs your player into the screen. And the only way to know what cut that is to watch your player. Don't look for the basketball until after you've watched your player read how you've read how they're going to guard you coming off the screen. You have to come off of the screen and watch your player and see how she reacts. If she follows you, you would curl. If she jumps to the inside as you come off of the screen, you would flare. Not 45-degree angles, but parallel with the lane line. If she was a stiff and didn't do anything and she just got screened off, then you'd get to make a simple pop cut. But you rarely in our game get to make that kind of a cut. But yet 90% of the cuts kids make are pop cuts or those ugly 45-degree angle nothing cuts. Okay, and the last cut that you would make if she tries to beat you to the spot is a, come back, let's show that a little better. If you start to go off the screen and she tries to beat you to the spot, we'd make a back cut. Okay, 4 cuts, pop, curl, flare, or back cut. So it's walk, wait, watch. What's the last thing? Thank you. Touch the screener. Touch the screener. I can edit. I'm okay. Okay, we want to make sure that we touch the screener here. When you come off of the screen, if you don't touch the screener, you leave room for the defender to slip through right with you. So you got to make sure that you touch the screener. Okay? Now, which leads us back to the screener, who is the second cutter. Okay, step back. If Shannon makes a pop cut, Alyssa's job is to widen out away from where the first cutter goes. If she's a perimeter player in our motion, she's got to get back out around the arc. If Shannon curls or back cuts, Alyssa needs to replace herself. Go right back to where she came from. One of the things in motion is we always have to have someone coming back to the basketball off of a screen. If she flares, we replace ourselves, so we're coming back to the ball. If she back cuts, then we have the same thing. It's a replace cut. Or she could flare out to the baseline, opposite where the first cutter goes. Okay?